Hey, what's up? Thanks for tuning in. Today we're going to be talking about dangerous animals attacking backpackers. It's probably one of the funniest stories I have to tell, and it hasn't been available for me to tell this story until just now because we just got someone new in the office. So I'm going to go introduce you to them. I'm going to let you hear firsthand about dangerous animals attacking backpackers. But before I do, you're probably wondering where we were last week. We did not publish last week. We are extremely busy around here right now because we are prepping to do a Kickstarter launch. We're launching a brand new product, which is a superb product. You may have heard us teasing this product before. You can see it right here on me. That's gonna be coming really, really soon. You're gonna wanna watch your inboxes for like next week. But let's jump over there. I'll go grab him. We'll see what Derek's doing. And I'm gonna tell you this story about the time that I saw a very dangerous animal attack a backpacker. Tyler. Hey. Guys, meet Tyler. He's new here. He does a lot. We're super excited to have him. And he has our story today. You ready to tell a story?
Sure.
All right, let's go do it. All right, we're gonna jump into our studio. Derek is here doing some more prep work for the Ventus. So we're getting ready to go. We'll have Derek hold the camera here and let's tell a story about dangerous animals. But look how good that Ventus looks. We're super stoked. It's 7 ounces, guys. It's a 7-ounce hoodie. It's the world's lightest weight hoodie. So make sure you're watching for next week when this thing drops. Anyways, let's talk about dangerous animals. All right, guys, so I've known Tyler for a long time, and quite a while back, it was actually when my wife was pregnant with our first kid, so about 5 years ago, we were backpacking in Havasupai. We've since brought Tyler on. He does a lot operationally for us here now, so we're really looking forward to having him on. But I remembered a story that I wanted to just share with you guys. So I'll say what I remember of the story, and he can fill in some gaps. But we had hiked down into Havasupai, and I think we'd walked up to some other falls during the daytime. And about lunchtime, we walked back to camp, and I got back to camp, and it was super hot, and I laid down on our table, like that's in your campsite. And I remember looking over and seeing his backpack, which was actually one of our old rhyolites, if I remember right. And I saw it kind of bouncing, and I'm like, oh man. And for those of you that don't know, in Havasupai, there are some dangerous animals that are the biggest pests in the world. Those squirrels are gnarly. And I was like, there's gotta be a squirrel in his backpack. I just saw that thing move. I swear I saw that thing move, but he wasn't to camp yet. And so I'm like, I don't wanna go look. I don't wanna go open his backpack and have a squirrel leap out at my face. And so I opted to wait, and then I saw it bounce again. I'm like, I've got to. Like, as a good friend I should go over there and check for a squirrel.
Yeah.
So I walked over there. I don't even know this. I pulled it down. He had it suspended from a tree branch. Mm-hmm. So I mean, it was just a line straight down to his backpack. It's like 5 feet off the ground, 6 feet off the ground. So I pull it down, and I look in there tentatively. I don't see anything. I could see deep into his backpack. Didn't see anything. So I'm like, okay, it just must be in my head. So I go hang it back up. I lay back down. It's super hot. And I swear out of the corner of my eye, I see it move again. I'm like, something's tripping with me. Either I'm losing my mind or there's something in his backpack. And about that time is when he got to camp.
If you've never done Havasupai, you need to know that when you hike in at like 1 or 2 in the morning. You do the 10 miles down into the canyon because it's an offshoot of the Grand Canyon. And
it's hot.
It's because of how hot it gets during the day. It's not really safe for people to hike in July in that heat. And so we were kind of delirious because that was the first morning in there. And I think I had just been getting water, but I come back and Tayson is like asleep on the picnic table or something.
I was on
like
guard.
that.
I was patrolling camp, you know.
Yeah. And I go to look in my pack, and of course I'm looking for the snacks because I'm starving. And I reach in there and a squirrel just flies out. And Tayson just laughing like crazy at me. And so
it was exactly what I didn't want to have happen to me when I looked in his pack, which is I could just picture this like squirrel leaping at my face. It's exactly what happened to him. It must have just bounced right off his shoulder and over his back. I don't know.
Just straight up into the tree. And so we're laughing about that, and it's like, okay, I need a snack. And again, the same thing happens. A second squirrel comes flying out of the pack, all in the same 2 minutes. And at that point, we were really guarding the camp, trying to keep them out. But there was a lot of them there, and it was just, the struggle was that they had chewed through one of the bags that I had inside the pack and kind of messed up my organization, and they ate probably my best snacks, the nuts and the chocolate and all of that. But yeah, it was quite the...
It was one of the funnier things I've ever seen while backpacking. Like, it was just, not just one, like the first one happened and we were all laughing. I was laughing my head off. And I look back over and the same thing happens again. And I just couldn't believe I'd looked in his backpack and didn't see any squirrels. And there was 2 in the very bottom. They must have just been laying down there on their backs, chewing away at all his food. But dangerous animals indeed, and huge pests. So when you go to like high traffic national parks and stuff like that, beware, the squirrels are vicious. So typically when I'm trying to deal with pesky squirrels, you're doing things like hanging your bag out of a tree. You're doing things like making sure it's really sealed and tight so that there's less scent going on. There's a handful of other things. The biggest thing is don't leave it in your tent, right? You leave your food in your tent when there's vicious squirrels around, and they're gonna be digging right through your tent. In fact, my mom went down like a year or 2 after that, borrowed one of our tents, and boom, they dug into the tent without there even being any food in there, just because they're so conditioned down in this area. In fact, down in Havasupai, you can go and like rent or get 5-gallon plastic buckets because it's the only way to keep your food safe. But I don't know, is there anything typically you do, Tyler, when you're thinking about trying to deal with squirrels besides keeping it out of your tent, making sure it's sealed, like you can get like a niofume bag, which can help with some of the scent, hanging the product. Again, he had his bag hanged and it was in bags, and they rappelled down. We watched them later too. They'd rappel down the line in here. I mean, these were some seasoned squirrels.
Yeah, I think the biggest mistake I made was I left the top of my bag wide open, like it was flopped open. And then too, I had probably been into the snack bag and rummaging around without sealing it back up and trying to work on that scent. So if I would have kind of just covered up the scent, sealed up the bag with my snacks in it, and then closed the top of the bag, I think I would have been okay with it hanging the way that it was.
Yeah, and I think if you hadn't have it open, they probably would have just chewed through your bag anyways. So this might be like a bear canister situation. You think bear canisters are for bears, but really they're just as good for squirrels. So also, when you are in some of these high traffic areas, please don't feed the animals. I'm sure you've seen those signs before, but and you might be saying, well, it's a squirrel, like it's not that vicious, but you never know. They could be carrying rabies, they could be carrying any kind of a disease that you don't want to be a part of, but mostly you don't want to condition these animals to come and seek food from you, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think that part of the issue in the high traffic areas is how much people feed them because they're so cute, or they want them to come closer and get a close-up photo of them or something. But really that can end up ruining other people's trips, because if they would have eaten a hole in the bottom of my bag, I would have had a hard time packing everything back out.
We had a trip, which maybe this is time for a different story, where a marmot, a rock chuck, chewed through a bag, and it dang near cost one of the team members here a long hike out because their backpack was this close to being useless. But other than that too, it also hurts the animal species themselves. It's not natural for them, so don't feed the animals. Hey, thanks for tuning in for this video and this story. Thanks, Tyler, for sharing that. You'll be seeing more of him on here, but if you like this style of video, let us know in the comments. Share your favorite backpacking story or a time maybe you've had an encounter with a dangerous animal. Otherwise, make sure you stay tuned because this puppy is going live soon. You're going to want to be a part of that to get the best possible pricing on pre-order. We're kickstarting this, so if you don't know what Kickstarter is, go look at some of our previous campaigns on Kickstarter.com, where you can see we've raised hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. Actually raised $1 million with the Loft Tech jacket, but it's time to kick this one out the door, and I think you're going to love it. So make sure you subscribe to this channel, and we'll see you next week.